I am I am very happy to be sitting here with two of my most favorite people in the music business, Jeremy Levin and Andrew Luftman. You know what I really want to talk about is sort of what we were talking about in there, and how lucky I am to work with people like Jeremy and Andrew. They're very special, unique people. They're so professional, but it all comes from a place of friendship and family, and they really take care of one another, from the songwriters they represent to the people that they work with. Can you tell me, Jeremy, a little bit about Amar and Benny's relationship and your relationship to them and how that all came together?
The first time I can really remember us talking about Amar was on a trip to LA. On that trip, that's when I first heard Stereo Hearts. And, I heard it in the version that Andrew heard it in, I think, which was this ska version that, not to be insulting, but it wasn't a hit record yet.
Right,
It was
that was the first time I heard it too.
Right, it was just a great song and a great chorus. I was introduced to David, and me and David started to talk about managing Amar, and I always thought Amar was so talented from the moment that I heard Stereo Hearts, and was very interested in managing him. So I remember pretty vividly the first time I actually heard Travi on Stereo Hearts, and I just remember hearing it for the first time and thinking, this is a hit record, like this is unbelievable. And it was just from that point on that, not only were we all just super friends, and there was just something special about the whole relationship with me and David and me and Amar and me and Andrew and me and Benny. Obviously, he's my brother and my best friend also. And it's just crazy that we get to work together every day. We get to do what we all love to do, and in the process, make hit records.
Well, you touched a little bit on Stereo Hearts, and Andrew, I know you were very, very involved in that. And how did that happen? How did it get to Travis McCoy? How did it become a Gym Class Heroes single? And how did Adam Levine end up being featured on it?
It was somewhere like right before Christmas, like we were right going into the holidays, I guess about 4 years ago, something like that. And Dano sent me a demo of Stereo Hearts. And it said the writers in there. I was like, oh, Amar, too. That's really interesting how they sort of hooked up, which I had nothing to do with. But I heard the song, and my immediate reaction was, in total honesty, was, that is a number one chorus. I don't like the verses. I don't like the production. But I went absolutely nuts for the chorus, and it was like at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday. And I think I finally got on the phone with Dano, and I just said, listen, I'm very blunt. That's a hit chorus. I don't really love the verses. I don't really like the production. Please send me an a cappella right away of the chorus. I want to go to Benny and work on this record and see if I can turn it into something that I think could work for either Gym Class Heroes or B.O.B. I don't know which one yet. And I went to Benny, I played him the record, and, we both kind of heard the same thing. He did a demo. The demo was, it was obvious that it was a big song to us. Mm-hmm. And wanted to take it a little more forward and had him go in the studio with Dano for the first time. And that really started their creative relationship as, co-producers, because Benny's best instrument ultimately is Pro Tools. I mean, he can play anything well enough to make it sound like what he hears in his head, but Dano's actually a real guitar player with style, and that really helped. And, and he's blossomed into a really tremendous producer in his own right. So that was sort of step two. At that point, I went to John Janik, I played him the demo, and went through the long and arduous process of convincing Travi to get to LA and record the record. And it was actually David's idea to go after Adam Levine. Benny had been introduced to Maroon 5's manager by his business manager, Phil Sarna, at a Christmas party. And he got to Adam and was like, I have this song, I'd really like to get your voice on it, and would you feature on this record and maybe write the bridge with us? And Adam wanted it for himself. He wanted it to be a Maroon 5 record. So Benny said, look, I can't do that, but I'll give you another song. And that other song ended up being Moves Like Jagger.
Wow.
So it all has become this very circular, kind of relationship. So by the time Trav got to LA, Adam was already on the record. He was actually in Cutting the Bridge the day before Trav showed up. And he knew that Adam was getting on the record. We were all really excited about it. He was a big Maroon 5 fan, and that's sort of the whole process of that song.
It's just amazing how, like Andrew said, that song, fostered the relationship between us and Maroon 5, which has now been one of the most rewarding relationships to all of us and to them. I mean, Adam has said multiple times that Benny's pretty much responsible for reviving, their careers. And I mean, you can't go anywhere now without seeing Adam in a commercial, on a billboard.
The way that we all work, and you mentioned sort of the familial nature of it, we choose the artists that we work with, I think, very carefully for that same reason. I mean, look, you want to work with as many people as you can within reason, but, if it's not going to be people that we feel share just a similar outlook on music and life, we kind of tend to avoid it.
Right.
And working with Maroon 5 and Adam is one of the most fun things. I mean, Adam is just about the most normal, approachable person that you can meet. I mean, he's an awkward, funny,
Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Just like all of us.
He just happens to be really handsome.
Right. Exactly.
So,
he is very handsome.
He's very handsome.
It's frustrating how handsome he is.
Yes. So, but that's kind of a big part of how we work too. And look, I won't lie. A lot of the overall relationship that we're talking about here really did start with Stereo Hearts. Yeah. And it changed everybody's careers.
And Sam's been a huge part of all the success as well. I mean, she's one of my favorite people in music. She's super hardworking. She'll help out on almost everything. She just cares a lot more than a lot of other people do. And that's hard to find too in a lot of people. And she's been a huge part of why I think we are where we are today, is her support and BMI's support. And yeah, she's awesome. It's still surreal to me that we all get to do this, and this is our job. I feel very blessed to be in the position that we're in, and I think this is something we could be having this conversation 30 years from now, and we'll all have gray hair, and maybe your hair won't be gray, but mine will be gray.
Might be blonde 'cause I've dyed it.
And we'll be talking about all the great relationships we've made over the years and how we've all stuck together throughout all the years, because I truly feel that we all have relationships that are lifelong relationships.